did you guys come up with on some positive aspects of your community?
What did you say?
Positive aspects of your community.
Let you get it out.
Like, you know, people,
What else? Kelsey, did you do anything?
If it's like from where I'm from, it's like a small community, and so everybody kind of knows each other. It's a down and the upside of that, but the upside is if you're in trouble or whatever, you need help, most likely somebody will know you, so. But the downside is you get into some trouble, everybody will know your business.
Southwest, my community is a real small community, and so everybody kind of just helps out with everything. If you need help, they're the first people to get your back, and you know, it's good to sit back and look to see what aspects of the community that a lot of people miss. But anything else? All right, well, I'm gonna turn it over to Lauren to start.
Alright guys, so you'll see that with your handout, you know, the handout that I gave out about relationships between a group and a community. It lists 8 bullet points about the different aspects of community that you could focus on that your community could have. And I would like you guys to incorporate those into your own community and answer the questions on page 333 in exercise 10.7, analyzing your home community. And then discuss your answers with whoever's around you and compare your communities. So there are only 2 questions. So feel free to discuss after you figure out how you can incorporate.
I didn't get a handout.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
No, it's on page 333 in your book. Under exercise 10.7, so you guys have a book that you guys can share or look at so that you can answer these questions together. And incorporate the handout. Did you get the handout, Amber? About
You should have 3 different papers, yeah.
Okay. And just try and answer them with incorporating those 8 bullet points. So,
Yeah.
everyone. I mean, you can pick out whichever ones like go along with your community. You don't have to do all 8, but just pick some and answer with your partner and kind of compare your communities. Yes. Yes, page 333. There's only 2 questions, so.
Like about 30 minutes over here. Okay.
there's really not a lot right now.
Like 50/50 on Tulsa. I like it better. I just don't like it. Like I never said, you can sit like 20%. It's big for me. You probably fit 10 of them in a lot.
Trying to get the process is just really, really slow. Very, very
Some could be bad. So the other day was like, it was 7.
Yes.
They're
in the high school.
now. I used to see
Calm
them.
down.
Now I see them everywhere.
Just let me know when you guys have answered all or kind of incorporated some and we can share afterwards.
That's where like everybody does everything. That's pretty much. Like we all know. I don't like there's a lot of it on
Pretty much. Or who knows who and who has what. That kind of thing. And then I live up by the lake, so I'm good. Ironically, everybody is, but okay.
I feel like there's
Yeah, I did. But that was
School didn't have like passes or like math stuff.
Bowery is really bad about that. At like 8th grade is the last grade for Bowery. And then they all just come to Copenhagen.
Okay, guys, we'll give you another minute to discuss and then we're gonna start sharing what you guys
Things that they come big, but they just not that like original, but food and stuff, like grocery store kind of thing.
Oh, good. I love your thank you. I really switch.
What made you cut out?
Well, because like the part that made it like really long was like from where I had gotten relaxed, which is,
Oh.
because it was like curly and then just straight down here.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to
Yeah,
get like a
changing
strap
the
and
power structure.
and then I was just like, no, it's a little bit more shorter.
On the school board.
Like, I'm gonna be drastic.
Have you put it in a
Yeah.
ponytail yet?
I did it. I was looking at the mirror like, it's just a little poof ball.
It's like, so much about cocaine in school, but it's.
All right,
super
guys.
small.
So feel free to share with me what you guys came up with. We'll start with Kelsey and Emily.
Well, I was saying like my community, basically like we know who like holds the power in the community, like the doctors and the bankers
Uh-huh.
are the ones who, have like the most say in what goes on or protect a lot of stuff, changes and all that stuff in our community. There's not a lot of like discrimination or anything like on professional levels, or in the schools, but, I don't know, of course, like the minorities like that, obviously, I feel like they're always being discriminated against.
Where are you from?
Atoka.
Oh, is that in Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's like in the southeastern part of Oklahoma, rather small town. I don't know, I guess it's a kind of it's a good community, I guess. Every community has its own and stuff, but yeah, for the most part, it's,
My town had a lot of similarities. It's a small community too. One of the differences I would say is the power is more with the school system. That's kind of the big thing. We have more of it's like a suburb of a lot larger town, so most of the jobs and all the agencies and things like that are not actually in my community.
Okay.
There's really not a lot of stuff like that where I live, but there's a lot really close.
Okay. All right. And what have you guys come up with? What are the comparisons?
Just any of these, or?
Oh yeah, just whatever you would like to share.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, could you guys tell me where you're from? Because then I'll get a better idea of what you're talking about.
I'm from Copan,
Okay.
30 minutes north of here.
Okay.
And I'm born and raised here in Bartlesville.
Okay.
And I'm from Nowata. It's just 15 minutes that away from Bartlesville.
The local group.
Local. Cool.
I felt like, well, in Bartlesville, the wealthy people kind of run the town.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think, like we have a lot of, we have like a lot of food pantries and stuff, but like, not much, cheap public transportation.
Oh yeah.
Like as far as education services, well for me, like as a nursing student, I thought, you know, like Jane Phillips, like their nurses are great about teaching students that come in and getting them hands-on experience.
Well, a lot of these, my town's actually too small. It doesn't, like, human services, there's really no human services in my town. But the power structure is mostly revolves around the school system, the school board. And it's really small, I think, between 400 and 700 people. I don't remember what it said, but yeah, it's pretty small. And I can't really think of any social problems other than it's small and just doesn't have anything there.
Yeah. Are there a lot of job opportunities there for people?
Not really.
Are there a lot of small businesses there and stuff?
There's a Dollar General, 2 truck stops, and then a sewing, quilting place.
Oh wow, yeah, that's small.
That's about it.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't think so. I don't think there's any antique stores.
I'm from a small town as well, so a lot of these, like you said, don't necessarily apply, but I was gonna talk about like education services. I know all we have in my town is our high school and like our public school system. So, they didn't really have like higher level education, so basically if you wanted like higher level math or sciences or anything like that, you'd have to drive over here to Bartlesville and go to the tech school. So, a lot of this stuff like we outsource like to Bartlesville, and even like job wise, like a lot of people have to drive over here to get a job.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. Well, glad to have you.
It's good for our economy.
No, no, you can do that.
Bartlesville runs off cocaine and all that.
And see, I'm from Chicago, so I think Bartlesville is kind of small, you know, but it is big when you come from small towns like that, so that's cool. And you guys, what'd you guys come up with?
Well, I'm from Gillette, Wyoming. It's a town about the same size as Bartlesville. It's a little different because there's not, like, the next bigger town is probably 2 hours away, so you have to have everything there. But, I mean, Gillette's a huge sports town, so a lot of the businesses supported the high school sports, and there's, like, our mascots everywhere. And, it's also huge into mining and coal mining and oil rigs. And so there's a lot of people there that are rich and they never went to college, and so there's a lot of bars
Oh, wow.
and things like that. So it's kind of an industrial town and a sports town.
That's cool.
And I'd say to work on, like, there's not a lot of value in, like, college or in, like, drugs and alcohol.
I live in Rowlett. It's kind of small business, average, middle class. There's not really much to it. Like, there's a lot of like restaurants and stores and like a lot of dentists places. But if you want to like actually do something, you gotta drive to like downtown or 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
But I don't really know. I was really in my own world back in high school, so I don't know what there was any discrimination problems or what the community value was. I just
Yeah, for your kids.
I don't remember anything really.
Yeah.
I'm also from again, a small town. I live in Tecumseh, and it's like, we have some places, we have like food places, and we have like, we have a couple banks, and it's a well-respected town, but like, there's some discriminations, and there's like, but it's not bad, but like, my family has grown up in this town, like, everybody knows my aunts, uncles, everybody. So like, they ask you, oh, who's your mom or who's your dad, and they're like, oh yeah, they used to be a really good ball player. And it's just like, we have a rep to like, oh yeah, we're good kids, we're not troublemakers, and it's a really good town.
That's cool. It's nice when everybody knows each other, kind
Yeah.
of. I mean, in some aspects.
And when we go
you know.
places, like, my family will stop to talk to somebody. I was like, oh, well, who was that? They're like, oh, we went to high school together. We played ball. I said, well, I guess there's another person we need to meet.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
That's awesome.
I'm from Rancho Cucamonga, California, and so it's a big place. I'm just gonna talk about number one. Where's it at? Race and the age kind of composition is pretty much all over. Families can raise, obviously raise families there, and people retire there, so the age is kind of everywhere. But and then pride in the community, I think we have a lot of pride just keeping it well kept, and I don't know, keep it just nice.
I'm from Bartlesville, technically. The educational service we have here is basically just RSU, Tri-County Tech, and yes, one Wesleyan. And they do, I guess they serve pretty much anybody that's looking for an opportunity to change their career, or just, get some more education. So.
I decided to talk about a student community because I know the community in Bartlesville. So at the beginning, I heard that the students, the body of students, the people that attend to the college are most likely Americans, white Americans, white Hispanics, Black Americans, and other minority groups such as Brazilians, Serbians, Venezuelans, and Europeans.
Okay. Cool. Well, it's good to hear about where you all are from. That's always interesting to learn. And also, I know I come from a large place, Illinois, Chicago. Like, it's pretty well known, and it's very business oriented, and you know, they have a lot of businesses. But what I've realized is everybody is in their own world. The community as a whole is, some smaller neighborhoods are closer knit. So they are in more control of what goes down in their community and what they all agree upon, you know. And my personal neighborhood, everybody is spaced out and they don't really care to get to know one another. So my family doesn't really know what our community is all about. And it's really important to have a close idea of like what everyone is about where you live, because when you live somewhere, you look for like a good educational system, a good job location, like maybe, you know, commuting wise, you're not that far away from your job, and you're closer to who you live around, because those are the influences if you have children too. Because they're gonna play outside with the neighbors' kids, or you know, you can have get-togethers with your neighbors and really understand what's going on and where you live. And so I'm going to start off with models of community practice. And basically it consists of two models, which are locality development model and the social planning model. And the locality development model is basically telling us, like, as a broad spectrum of, you know, participation in your local community, who all kind of develops what model of community, like what model of planning, and who all is in charge of things like a coordinator, a catalyst, a teacher, problem-solving skills, and ethical values, like who all comes up with those things, who's the enabler, and all of those things like kind of incorporate into a main idea of what you want to be known for as a community. What, if you're warm and close, or if you're just all on your own page and very separated and, you know, kind of cold-shouldered. And then also, social planning model is when it emphasizes on technical process of problem solving. So, like, this approach assumes that community change that in a complex industrial environment requires highly trained and skilled planners who can guide complex change processes. So basically, who all can help guide a complex, like, kind of broad change in your community? Who are those people? Who are those resources in your community that can make a difference to where you are comfortable in knowing where you live? Oh, sorry. What's that? Oh, that was kind of bad. I don't know how to do that. Well, I knocked that a little. Sorry, guys. Okay. Oh, that's good. That's real good. Oh, to be human. Okay, anyway. Well, oh wait, till this works. Okay. Well, I could go on. But then we. But yeah, I mean. Kind of goes into it. I don't know what happened. I just knocked it a little bit. Should I tell him to go into the book? Okay. Well, the next portion of what I'm going to talk about is on page 335. So if you all could get together with somebody who has a book and turn to your page 335. That'd be grand. My bad. I'm so sorry, guys.
Just keep going.
Okay.
'Cause I don't know, I'm gonna get this fixed.
Okay, so basically, this one is social action model, and it says, the social action assumes there is a disadvantaged segment of the population that needs to be organized, perhaps in alliance with others, to pressure that power structure for increased resources or for treatment more in accordance with democracy or social justice. So basically, this is putting all those planning into action in your community. So the social aspect of it all kind of like comes together, and this is how communities find their resources and see what they can do. It's good. So okay, I won't touch that. I won't. I shouldn't have put my stuff there. But yes, and then I have a scripture. I'm just gonna do that. Okay. There. Okay, Romans 8 and 20. Okay. We are assured and know that God, being a partner in their labor, all things work together and are fitting into a plan for good and for those who love God and are called according to his design and purpose. So basically, working as a whole as a community is very important. And I picked the scripture because he helps us kind of just stick together and figure out plans that work out for all of us. You know, fellowship is huge, and getting to know the Lord, and you know, his plan is designed to keep us together and depend on each other along with himself. So that is the purpose of community, you know, like just working together as a whole and being considerate of one another and loving one another. So yes. And I will turn it over to Emily.
Okay, so surprise, surprise, we're going to talk about communities again. Okay, so in a lot of communities nowadays, we see a lot of these social problems like poverty, homeless people. I don't know whether you've lived in some, maybe you've seen it on TV, or you've seen it like you've driven through it, but everyone's seen communities that look like this or that have social problems like this. So basically this section is talking about how having a positive attitude, like the people in the community and the people surrounding it, having a positive attitude can really help the community. And they use this term half empty. Basically that's like the negativity of the people in the community. So like if people around you are, you know, and people on the news or anything are saying that your community's trash, it's the ghetto, obviously you're not going to want to help, you know, you're not going to want to fix it up or make it look nice, or you're not going to really care about it. But the book says that if you have a half full approach, this is like the positive side, then you can really have a good impact. And that last bullet, a focus on strengths and assets leads to vitality and positive action. The strengths perspective is one of the things that the book talks about. Provides an orientation to practice that seeks to uncover and reaffirm people's talents, abilities, survivor skills, and aspirations. So basically, it just looks at the positives of the people and the community as a whole, and it tries to strengthen the community. A focus on strengths found in individuals, families, groups, and communities increases the likelihood that people will reach their goals they set for themselves. So a good example is the Cochrane Gardens. It's I have a video. Let's see if I can get it. Okay. So basically, this lady Bertha, she lived in the Cochrane Gardens in St. Louis, and it was like a rundown community, and she kind of took it from like the ground up, and she rebuilt it, and they kind of taught the people how to live there. Instead of, it's like kind of like that saying, if you give a man a fish, you can only feed him for a day, but if you give him a fishing pole and teach him how to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. She kind of did this with the people that live in Cochrane Gardens. So we're just gonna watch a little bit of it.
Not built for thieves. It was not built for people who tear up the property. Public housing was built for low-income people.
I'm Mike Wallace, I'm Morley Safer.
I'm Harry Reisner.
On slums, islands of despair in otherwise prosperous big cities. One problem may be the huge bureaucracies that run the housing projects. One answer may be tenant power. What would happen if the people who live among the devastation were given the responsibility to look after their own front yards? St. Louis, the Vaughan Public Housing Project is like so many others. Whole buildings totally vacant. Even occupied buildings have the look of a war zone, bashed in and picked over by vandals. And inside is more of the same and worse. The halls and corridors reek with the stench of human waste. Back in the 70s, one complex, Pruitt-Igoe, got so bad that the St. Louis City Fathers could find only one rather dramatic solution. And just 10 blocks from Vaughan, another public housing project called Cochrane. 10 blocks yet worlds apart. The reason why Cochrane looks like this and not like this, maybe this. This woman, Bertha Gilkey, a dynamo of a housing activist in St. Louis.
Yes, a good grade.
It takes more than money, it takes attitudes, she says, to change neighborhoods.
We didn't just fix it up. We changed the people. We change the thinking of the people. We sit down with our people and we re-educate our people. And we train them how to live. We taught them how to live in public housing, how to use the incinerators, okay, the proper way to use it, how to dispose of their garbage, and even the families that live in. Before they moved into the buildings that were renovated, they've been living in Cochrane almost 40 years. They had to go through an orientation. If people are urinating on elevators that are not renovated, when you renovate them, they're going to keep urinating. If they're tearing out the walls, the old walls, when you put in new walls, they're going to tear them out.
After Pruitt-Igoe was blown up, the tenants at Cochrane thought they would be next. They mobilized and cleaned up the place, then took over the management of Cochrane in 1976 from the City Housing Authority, which pays them a management fee for the 765 apartments. Bertha, with the help of local businessmen and City Hall, got $27 million in federal funds to renovate it. The best measure of Cochrane's success is this: expensive private housing built right across the road. The city still provides maintenance staff, but it's all overseen by the residents, and that seems to make the difference. That and a careful screening and selection process.
We look for people who are willing to buy in to our concept.
When you say buy-in, you don't mean for money.
No. I mean the standards that we've been able to develop in Cochrane, such as being willing to sweep their own hall. Everybody has a certain day they have to sweep their own hall. Be willing to look out for their neighbor. Being willing to supervise their children. Being willing to be a good neighbor and be a good ally in the community.
It goes further than that, though, because you encourage people to, I hate to use the word, to rat on their neighbors, too.
We don't call it ratting.
But it is.
No. To us, it's not ratting. To us, it's community control.
Tell me something. If one of you saw one of your neighbors doing something wrong on the floor, would you report it?
I would. Do it all the time.
The rules at Cochrane are uncompromising. A strict 9:30 p.m. curfew against loitering. No children over 12 allowed in the play area, and to enforce the rules, each building has a captain, and each floor has its own captain. Kind of neighborhood snoops.
Joe Kelly, president of Cochrane.
To keep...
Okay, so you kind of get the, you can turn the lights on. So you kind of get the gist of it. She took this community and completely changed it by giving the people who live there positivity. Okay, there we go. There we go. So basically, like I said, she changed the entire community by giving these people a building that they could appreciate. And she also, there was a garden, there was like a playground, all sorts of stuff that she actually put in there with that the community, they got the funding from the government, and she really did a lot of stuff. Okay, so next we're going to move on to like kind of organizations. And these are kind of the things I'm going to talk about: evaluating outcomes, fundraising, budgeting, and then working with the media. So the first one is, okay, I gave you guys an example of a client satisfaction questionnaire. I just didn't know if you've ever seen one, so I just wanted to make sure you had an example of it. So I'm sure everyone maybe has seen this, like whether it's been like a service, like someone, like if you go to a restaurant and someone asks you to fill out a survey, that's kind of what it is, just an organization looking to see if you're satisfied with what you're getting. Fundraising and budgeting, obviously everything has to have money. An organization has to either raise money or they have to get funding from the government. So they have to find a way to do that. And budgeting kind of goes along with fundraising. They're closely related. It's just a budget is kind of like a statement of what everyone's used that month, just so they can see how much fundraising they need or how much they need to cut out, or things like that. And then the last one, working with the media. In today's society, we're like a huge media society. So it's very important for organizations to be in the media and to get their name out there so people know who they are and what they're about and stuff like that. So Shelby is gonna, I picked this one, Hebrews 10:24-25, and let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as we see the day drawing near. So it kind of goes back to the first kind of slides, the positivity, relating community, like coming together and being positive really makes a difference. So Shelby's gonna take it away. What? Okay.
Okay, so I had transformative dialogue. Transformative implies the search for alternative and new meanings of the situation, and dialogue was described as the frequently used to refer to a verbal exchange between individuals or a group. The dialogue process is just used in groups to reduce conflict and to promote better relationships and result of a better